Hi bookish friends, my name is Jackie and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be taking on the 101 Days of Summer tag. This tag was created by The Reading Room and I was tagged by him and by Literary Michelle to do this tag. So thank you so much to both of them and I'm going to leave their channels linked down below. So I'm going to dive in and tell you some of my thoughts. Okay, question 1 is BBQ Time. Pick a favorite author. They're inviting you to a barbecue to announce their newest work. What do you hope they're announcing and what are you bringing to share? So I'd probably be hoping that it's Suzanne Collins announcing another Hunger Games book. So maybe one focused on Phoenix Games or Mags' games would be really exciting to hear about. That's on my ideal dream list of books to read, and I'd probably be bringing desserts or drinks because I'm not a very good cook and nobody wants to eat that. Next question, road trip. Pick a real world setting from a recent or not so recent read. Where would that road trip take you? I think I'd go to North Carolina because that's where Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone, the 9th book in the Outlander series, took place, and I don't have to travel back in time, so that's good. But I'd like to go there just to go hiking in the mountains and explore that. I think that North Carolina has a lot of beautiful, gorgeous scenery and nature there, and it would be really nice to go hiking there, to take a road trip there and explore. It would take several days to get there from Florida, but it would be a really good time, and I think that would be ideal for just a place to relax and unwind and get out of like the busy city life. All right, camping. Do you rough it, say tent and a sleeping bag, or do you require amenities? Will you read more than usual? So you definitely could never catch me roughing it, I will say that. I'd at the very least need a sleeping bag and a tent to be convinced to do this, but I really would require more amenities to go camping. I'm not a big camping person, so it would take a very strong personality or a lot of convincing for me to even go. And I would probably end up reading more than normal since I'd lack access to internet service and I'd have a lot fewer distractions than I have in my day-to-day life. But I probably wouldn't end up going on that camping trip to begin with, so don't count on that. Okay, festivals. You're attending a BookTube festival where dressing as one of your favorite literary characters is the only requirement. Who do you go dressed as and why? I'd probably go dressed as Claire Fraser from the Outlander series. I love those books so much and I think that she's such a strong-willed, determined, and feisty character. She has a lot of excellent first-rate qualities and I would be honored to dress up as her. And I think that wearing 18th century like Scottish women's clothing for a day would be really fun and it would make me feel like I'm at a run fair, which could be very exciting. Claire is just such a great character and the clothing just looks stunning, and honestly I think it would be a great person to cosplay as. Plus I also have the long dark curly hair to match, so it would be perfect. Slice of life. What is something others may consider simple or mundane but is something you can't see a summer without? So just spending time outside in nature, so walking and really taking in the trees and the nature around us. I know a lot of people go to the beach and that can be really nice, but sometimes it can be overcrowded and going to a park or something like that may be preferable. And I don't think that a lot of people really consider that as part of the summer experience, but I do. And I also can't picture summer without swimming in a pool or the beach or doing any of that and then cooling down with like a popsicle or some ice cream at the end. Like that is what I picture in summer. Also a barbecue, like that's something that I always think of when I think of summer, so those are things that really make me feel like we are in the summer season. Scary story. Which author would you invite to go camping with you knowing you would want to hear the scary story they can tell around the campfire? Maybe Stephen King? I don't really read a lot of horror or read a lot of authors that write a lot of horror or thrillers, so I don't know. But I think Stephen King could craft like a really good campfire side story that would be really scary. But actually on second thought, maybe I don't want to know the deepest workings of his mind. Like that might scare me too much. I think I'd probably end up having nightmares for days on end after hearing that, so maybe I don't want to hear the scary story that he could tell. But if I had to hear it from one author, it would be Stephen King for sure. First love / summer crush. A romantic interest during the summer months often leads to a bittersweet ending or a lasting impact. Which do you prefer to read and how does the age of the characters affect this opinion? So I think it depends on where the rest of the novel has been leading us to this point and the character development that's been happening, but I think I prefer a lasting impact. Bittersweet endings are just so difficult to stomach and read, they're so difficult to swallow, and I think a brief summer romance where they leave a mark on each other's lives can be more powerful in the end, and sometimes it can be more memorable than those relationships that end in tears. Also, I think that younger characters are more likely to have that bittersweet ending where they just can't make the relationship work because they have to do long distance, they move away to college or something like that, so they can't be together. But I think that adults can end up having relationships that have more of a lasting impact because they know themselves, they have deeper relationships and deeper connections than teenagers do a lot of times, and I think that they can really affect each other in a deeper way than teenagers do because they don't know themselves yet. All right, nostalgia. What book or books imbibe you with an overwhelming sense of summer nostalgia? They don't necessarily have to take place during summer, but provide a strong attachment to summer somehow. So I want to say Fever 1793 by Laurie Halse Anderson is definitely one of these books. It's a historical fiction that takes place in 1793, of course. And I read this many years ago as a young child. It's about the spreading of a fever in the summertime. And I don't know why that makes me think of summer. It's kind of sad, honestly. But I do know that there's just more illness spreading in the summertime. So it does make me think of that. And it's one that has really stuck with me, even though I don't remember all the plot details. Also, the Judy Moody books. There's one specifically about like a not so bummer summer or something like that. That is one that I always think of when I think of summer. It reminds me of what I thought a perfect summer would be like in my childhood. They had like a bucket list where they did a bunch of things like tightrope walking and running an ice cream truck, I think, and doing a treasure hunt. And they did so many things that give me the summer vibes that I will always have nostalgia for that and remember it as a great summer read. Okay, summer stories. What is a book or books that you recommend where the summertime is the primary focus? I've read a lot of summer books in the sense that they're great to read around summertime, but not that that's the focus. So maybe The Great Gatsby, because I think all the parties and the glitz and glam of that would be really great. And just like the kind of carefree social life that they have is rooted in summertime, so I think it really reflects that. It's a great one for this season. And I would say also The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. That one's not so rooted in summertime, but it is a perfect beach read. I think that it has a great romance plotline with the genetic testing that they do in that one. And I think it feels rooted in summer when people have more time for dating, for romance, and for connecting with others. All right, so those are all the prompts. I'm gonna leave the people that I'm tagging in the description down below. Feel free to take this on if you saw this video, even if I didn't tag you. And if you've made it to this point in the video, give me a sun emoji for summer. And I wanna say a big thank you to everyone that's watched my videos. I appreciate each and every one of you. And wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, I hope that you are doing well. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye!